Let me now come to the final issue, which is the issue of tax, and one that you pointed out is probably the source of the maximum nervousness within corporate India. And I think the concern is that as we converge to IFRS on the standalone account, if the tax department doesn't make the requisite changes and is not fully up to speed with the changes, there could be a case of all kinds of tax claims being made, even on unrealized gains, etc., etc. What do you think is the best solution to this? From what I understand, the industry's conversation with the tax department has been that we will continue to present accounts in Indian GAAP for tax purposes, and therefore, till the requisite changes are not made, the tax department and tax officers are not up to speed, let's say over the course of the next year or two, we stick to tax on Indian GAAP until they're ready, and then they finally can move to tax on IFRS, which may be a change effected even in the DTC.
Well, that is one solution which is offered, but it is a temporary solution. It fixes your tax liability, but it creates a problem in the sense that companies will have to maintain two sets of accounts.
But for a short period, maybe a year or two.
No, provided the tax authorities are able to arrive at the solution within a year or two.
What is the option then, sir?
No, I agree. All right, you do it. I'm not saying. First is, I don't see why they couldn't have arrived at a solution over the last 2 years.
Right.
After all, it wasn't not a new problem. It was identified in September 2009.
Yes.
They should have worked out a solution.
And that is exactly the period in which they were working on the direct tax code. So it was not difficult for them to implement some of this.
It had nothing to do with the direct tax code, in the sense that what I'm trying to say is, to arrive at the solution, you must have a process. And to arrive at the process, you must first identify what are the nature of the differences which can arise.
Right.
And it is in that context that I have suggested to them that you identify the nature of differences under 4 heads. The first head is where there are permanent differences.
Right.
If you, for example, identify an asset in one manner for accounting purposes and in a different manner for tax purposes, then your depreciation will be different. So why not change your tax law to say that you identify an asset in the same way as you would for accounting? So that's the first stage, the permanent difference. The second stage is where you get timing differences. I said timing differences, the industry must accept that. Ultimately, you're not paying more tax. It's only a question of the timing.
Right.
The third is the major issue which arises out of this concept of fair value, that you have unrealized gains and losses. So I said all those unrealized gains and losses are normally parked in other comprehensive income. So for tax purposes, don't consider other comprehensive income as taxable income, because at some point of time that will move into the profit and loss account and you will tax it at that stage.
Right.
And the final question was that if you have dealt with these 3 issues, then there is at the point of conversion, your opening balance sheet, you will get some gains or losses. Now you treat that process as tax neutral.
Right.
And don't consider that gain or loss for tax purposes.
And I think you've cited a precedent in that as well, which is what happened with the...
This is what we did when we, for example, when the Bombay Stock Exchange was corporatized, we recommended that and that was accepted.
Alright, so this is how you hope the tax department will initiate the process of reconciling the tax with the convergence to IFRS.
Exactly.
But are you also in a sense sort of accepting the fact that maybe for the next year or two we will still have companies, those that are converging to IFRS, having to present their accounts in Indian GAAP for tax purposes?
I suppose so. They might have to do that for tax purposes.
Alright, so we are going to have 2 sets of accounts.
Yes, or make adjustments, take the Indian accounts, and because we know what are the changes which have been made between IFRS, the new accounts and the old ones, and make the necessary adjustments.
Alright, finally sir, do you expect, when we, assuming that within the next, by April 1st, we're able to notify the standards, make the amendments, and we're actually able to meet the deadline. Let's say in the first quarter of the next financial year, when we start seeing accounts being presented in IFRS, is there going to be a substantial difference in the financial performance of companies? I think that's one of the other minor fears. within the analyst community, within the media, investor groups saying, are we suddenly going to see performance improve or, sort of deteriorate because of the convergence to IFRS?
It's very difficult to say because every standard will affect different types of companies differently. But my feeling is that since we have got these carve-outs which are really intended to provide that this sort of differences don't arise,
right, I
don't expect too much of a difference. That's the word.
All right, Mr. Malagam, thank you very much for speaking with us on the IFRS issue.
Thank you.